Thank you for listening to the Awakened Radio Network at awakenedradio.net, where we invite you to join us for the Prosperity Game. You can win prizes. You can also discover the easy, quick, surefire ways to allow prosperity into your life experience. The Prosperity Games are ongoing on the Awakened Radio Network. Check out our front page, awakenedradio.net, for details on the Prosperity Game. You can win prizes by calling in, by being in our chat room. You can even win by leaving comments in our forum. We've got all manner of ways for you to join us to play the Prosperity Game, where we all win and live beautiful, wonderful, on-purpose lives. Join us for the Prosperity Games at awakenedradio.net.
Hello and welcome to Evolutionary Women Radio Show with Pernilla Lillerose, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is your host Pernilla Lillerose at Evolutionary Women Radio. It's wonderful to be here with you again. I hope you're having a good day. And as always, I like to invite you to join me here. And there's a few ways you can do that. You can either go to the chat room, and that is awakenedradio.net/live chat room. So you can just go there and say hello and just connect. I would love to hear from you. That's one of the fun parts of doing this, is that I get to connect with you. So please announce yourself and come and join me. And if you would like to call in, if you have a question, if you have something you want to share, anything about what we're talking about today, the number is 334-649-7204. And it would be wonderful to connect with you. You know how I enjoy that. And those of you who have called in the past, it kind of makes my day. So if you want to make my day, connect with me either in the chat room or on the phone by calling in. So today I would like to talk about something that covers, I would say, it's like a blanket that was put around the globe here. And that we are all affected by more or less. Some of us have seen through it or seen partly through it. It's the subject that there is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with who you are. There is nothing wrong with what you do. And there is nothing wrong with your situation of your life circumstances right now. Now, some of you may freak out when I say that, because if you look at your life, you can say, oh my God, there is a lot of things wrong here, and they need fixing. So, and I agree. I mean, that is one part of it. When you really look at your life and there is something that is simply not in balance, in harmony, in resonance with what you know is true, then it's very, very common and understandable that we're going to say there is something wrong with this picture. So, but we need to take it a step further, because if I take it back to the blanket that we all live under, for some strange reason, we have all bought into this belief this sensation, this picture that there is something wrong and that we need to do something to fix it, to make it right. And as long as we see the world, see our life, see ourselves through this veil, through this picture that there is something wrong, every action that we take is coming from this sensation that there is something wrong that needs to be fixed. So it's in a way it's a very deep core belief, and I know if not all of us, then certainly 99.9% of us have been or are affected by it. And one of the reasons is that we are still living that way, even though there are people who are waking up to the fact that that's not true. As long as it's done unconsciously, as long as you, I, we are not aware that we are moving, motivated from a place that there is something wrong, then all of our actions are going to be to fix the wrong. And what you will experience in your life, basically as your life experience, is that you will always be on this role of fixing something that is wrong, because that is the lens or the veil that you see life through. And you know, it's kind of sad, because what happens is that we don't really connect with something that is right. And I'm not talking about right, wrong in the sense that the right, this is right and this is wrong, because that is still in the realm of duality. But there is something inside each of us that says, that feels something, that it's like a sense of rightness. And oh, hello, Dove and Butterfly says hello. Well, hi back to you. Wonderful to have you here. And I'm sorry, I just have to interrupt my own little talk here, because I'm so happy when somebody says hello to me. So hello back to you. I'm so happy you're here. So to come back to this sense that we think there is something wrong with us, or we think there is something wrong with our situation, that keeps our focus on fixing it and changing it and making it right. And when we put all our energy into that, we basically create a world of right and wrong. Or wrong and right. A world that is wrong, that needs fixing. It's wrong and it needs fixing, and it's wrong and it needs fixing. And you can apply that to any area of your life. It could be your job, it could be your relationship, it could be your body, it could be your health. It is applied to everything. And you know, if you look into the world, you will see that is how things are run. For instance, if you look at the medical industry, it's always looking for what is wrong, what is sick, what needs fixing, what is not right. That is kind of an ongoing thing in the world. And there, jobs are created to make things right. And we put so much energy into that. And oh, hello, Susan. Hi, back to you. Lovely to have you here. Makes me so happy. So, how do we change that? And can we change that? As I say that, I might even say, well, is it wrong that we think everything is wrong? We can take it to that level. But I don't want to stay in the level or in the realm that there is something wrong and it needs fixing. I want to take us to the realm where actually nothing is wrong, where everything is perfect as it is, already and always. And as long as we keep our focus on needing to fix something or change something, we miss out on that part of us that does not need fixing and does not need changing and does not need to really do anything to be what it already is. Now, it's not something you can just do overnight. It's something you learn. It's a step-by-step process. It's a matter of learning to listen and get in touch with, connect, tune into this frequency of our beingness, of our essence that is already complete and whole. And the more we do that, the more we can rest back into that. We open up a portal or a channel or a door, an expression that allows this energy of who we already are as perfection. We let it into our life experience in this third dimension. So there's something about, first, it's really, really important to become aware of the fact that we are identified with a belief, and not just a belief, it's a felt sense in the body. It's something you feel in your body if you pay attention to it. Until we are becoming aware of that, we are just going to keep going in the hamster wheel trying to fix what we think is wrong. Let me just say a little sentence to you. In the work I do called Hakomi, which is body-centered therapy, where it's really about helping bring you into your body so that you can start listening to what is going on in there. As there's feelings, there's sensations, there's a lot of things going on in the body that we usually don't pay attention to unless there's pain or discomfort, and then we do something to get rid of it, right? Instead of deeply listening to it. So in the Hakomi work that I do, we often say a little sentence, not for the mind, but we kind of say the sentence so your body can listen and notice what happens when you hear that little sentence or word or suggestion. So it's put out as a little pebble in a lake to see what ripples are coming from inside of you when you hear that sentence. So being in mindfulness is important, and I'm not going to teach about mindfulness today because that's a whole thing in itself. And if you really want to learn about it, I have a really wonderful CD set that you can order on my website, which I'll talk about a little later. But for now, before I say the sentence, I want to just invite you to kind of get into a place inside of you, not like drop down from your mind into your body, so that you can start noticing when I say this sentence, there might be something moving inside of you. There might be a contraction, a fear, an expansion, an image, a memory, a fluttering. It can be anything, but you will be the one who will notice that and become aware of something that is responding / reacting to the sentence that I'm going to say in just a moment. But I just want to prepare you so your body, your sensations, your inner experience can receive this sentence. So it's not your mind. If you hear it from your mind, you'll say yeah, or no, that's not true for me, or something. But then you miss the whole experience in your body, which is exactly where these beliefs are lodged. And those are the ones that we want to connect with so we can unlodge them and liberate them, so that you can start listening to a deeper place in you where actually nothing is wrong. But until we are aware that we are hooked in to the frequency or the belief, the feeling, the felt sense that something is wrong, we're probably not going to do a whole lot. We're just going to keep on the hamster wheel. So, having said that, I want to invite you to just take a deep breath right now and allow yourself to kind of drop from your head into your body. And a good way to do that is like when you take the breath, let yourself follow the in-breath into your belly, so that you notice when you breathe in, your belly and or your chest will rise a little bit. And that's how you bring yourself into your body. So take another breath in the body and just notice how you feel in there right now. There might be discomfort, there might be hunger, there might be anything. But just notice what is actually going on in your belly, in your chest, in your body. And then I'm going to ask you to notice what happens in you. Does anything change? Is there a part of you that comes up to meet this sentence I'm going to say? Do you notice your breathing may change? So I'm just going to ask you just to pay attention. And there's no right and wrong. There's only exactly what happens for you in that moment. Okay, so take a breath and just make yourself available to notice what happens when you hear me say, there is nothing wrong with you. Just breathe into your body, in your belly, and just notice if anything changed, or if you noticed anything. And if you feel so moved, I would invite you to write it in the chat room. Just write in and tell me what your experience is. You know, there might be a part of you that says, oh, God, yeah, I still believe that. I can feel it right here. Or there might be a part of say, you know what? Gosh, I don't believe that anymore. Yay! And it can be anything in between. I can share with you from my own experience that the belief that there's something wrong with me is something that has colored probably most of my life. And I can happily say that I'm out of most of it, but I'm not totally out of the woods yet. I can still feel that sensation in my body at times, where my actions are driven or motivated from a place deep inside of myself, let's say, that still believes that there's something wrong. Actually, I don't think there's anything wrong with me. I think I have left that one behind, thank God. But there is still sensation sometimes that there's something wrong with my life situation or what I do. It's not strong like it used to, but there is still a flavor left of that. So, okay, let's just see here. One person shared. Susan, thank you. I was feeling a bit of tightness in my left temple and left side. I felt an expansion in those areas. Well, wonderful. So what, oh, and then from Dove and Butterfly, excitement and bliss. Yay! That is fantastic. Because when you really feel in your body that that's not true for you anymore, it is quite exhilarating, isn't it? Because then you have landed somewhere inside of your body where you just move with what is true and right for you in your expression. So thank you for sharing that. And so where I still have some of that is that I still sometimes sense some of my actions are actually driven by that. But the good news is that I have brought so much awareness to a lot of it that I can catch it. And what I do then is I just breathe into that sensation. when I catch it. Sometimes I may catch it 5, 10, 30 minutes after. It's like, oops, Pranilla, where are you coming from right now? You're trying to fix something that's wrong. Can you just breathe in and really allow your situation to be exactly like it is? And then, then you start feeling, well, what do I really want to do? If I don't want to take my actions from a place or a feeling that there is something wrong, right? When you become aware of that, you can stop. You can take stock. You can just look and say, okay, well, what is my truth here? If I don't want to move from a place where I think something is wrong, it may take a little while, it may take a little work to get in touch with your true movement, your quote-unquote right movement. And again, it's not a matter of right and wrong. It's just finding what your flow is, what your wave is. And once you start moving from there, things are just different. You're not moving through a veil to fix the world or fix yourself or fix your life. You're moving from an energy or as an energy that is love, that is creativity. You see, instead of trying to fix what's wrong, you create what you love. You create something that inspires you, that makes you happy, that you can that might be something where you see in the world that there is a need there, but you're not creating from a place of wrongness. You're creating from a place of love. And it's like, wow, let's bring some love here and see what happens. Because in your heart, you know what is true. And the more we dare to listen to that, we automatically stop listening to the what is wrong part. So, and thank you, Teresa. You felt a relief. Yeah, isn't that a relief to know that? And, it's simply because when we feel elation or relief or expansion, it feels so good because there is a part of us that has lived under the belief that there is something wrong. And then when you hear it with your body that there's nothing wrong with you, that part that may have still believed a little bit of it or that has believed it in the past just got confirmed, like, oh, no, it's not true, there's nothing wrong with me. And I can tell that to myself once in a while, and I always feel so relieved because that part that has believed it for at least a lifetime and probably more can relax. Finally can relax. Oh, and here's another one from Susan. Oh my God, guys, you make me so happy today. Susan says that action comes from the place as the force that creates and holds the universe together. See, that's it. Oh, thank you so much, Susan. It's coming from that place as the force that creates and holds the universe together. That's when you are in your divine energy, your essence, your truth, your flow, your movement that is unique to you. And that is what I want to invite everybody to get in touch with, because then we create a world based on love and joy and everything that we know in our heart is true. And the question is always, do I dare trust that? Do I dare trust that what I feel in my heart is right on? Can I be courageous enough to at least try it out? Can I take the step? Can I be so brave to say no to the part that wants to change because I'm wrong, and say yes to the part that wants to create something new that may have nothing to do with anything you've ever done before? This takes a lot of courage. But it takes more than courage. It takes a willingness and a dedication to learn what that is, because we are not used to listening to that part in ourselves. And it's like starting a class where you need to take every little step to learn what it is that your body and your being is telling you. And here's another one from Susan. In love with me and life. Yes. And of course, as you know this, Susan, it is because you are love. I am love. We are love at the core. And that love, there's nothing wrong with that love. But as long as we put our attention on our belief, our identity, that there's something wrong with us, we lose every time, and we stay on that hamster wheel, trying to make what we think is wrong right. And we are going to go on a break in just a few minutes, and I want to talk a little more about the process of when we wake up to who we are. We start realizing things that are very different than when we are asleep to the identity that we walk around thinking that we are. And it has a lot to do with knowing that there's nothing wrong, and start living from a place that there actually is nothing to do, but there is a lot to do, but it comes from a very, very different place. So we can talk a little bit more about that, and please keep chatting in and keep connecting. It's just, it brings so much aliveness to at least me sitting here and in this show, that I can connect with others, because that's something that brings aliveness to me. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is actually what feels alive and moves in me. So I'm going to go with that flow. Now, if you would like to learn a little more about what I do, you can always go to my website, which is lillarose.com, spelled LILLAROSE.com. And you can go to the products if you want to learn about meditation and mindfulness. It's a 6 CD set that teaches you the basics about how to become mindful and present with yourself, how to become mindful with your body, your thoughts, your feelings, your beings, and how to be present with it all without getting lost in it, and allow the transformation to happen by just living from that place of who you are, bringing love to the places that are feeling unloved. So that's on my website at lillarose.com, and I invite you to go there and browse around. You'll also see that I always offer these half-hour free discovery sessions where we can explore together if this is actually something you want to do, and if I'm your right friend or guide on that path into yourself. So we're going to go on a little break now, and I look forward to being back with you in just a moment.
You are listening to the Awakened Radio Network at awakenedradio.net. Join us on the go through the free application at tunein.com. You asked for it. We've supplied it. Awakened Radio is about change, different, making it new, and we're giving you an opportunity to co-create with us. We've heard you over the years, all of us, begging for, yearning for a new way for media, new way for sales, new way to create our lives, a way to cooperate with one another. Well, Awakened Radio has set it up for you, and you are invited to be part, either by sponsoring a show, advertising with us, hosting your own broadcast, sharing our links, or giving something back financially. We have donate buttons throughout our website at awakenedradio.net. Your contributions really are what have brought us this far and what will help us financially to move into new expansions. Thank you so much for making it real, for putting your money where your mouth is, for co-creating with us. We talk a lot about, I won't change, I won't change. Well, this is your opportunity to create some. If you like what we're doing, only breaking every 30 minutes. If you like what we're doing, not covering, the interest of big business, then pitch in, support us, co-create with us. Everybody can donate $1, $5, $10. Any amount is always appreciated. Thank you so much for your love and support of the Awakened Radio Network. Join us on our website, awakenedradio.net.
Welcome back to Evolutionary Women Radio, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Thank you for joining and listening. This is your host, Pernilla Little Rose, and this show is brought to you by Women Standing for Love. Welcome back. Yes, welcome back, my friends. This is Pernilla Little Rose, your host again, and we are talking about the fact that there is nothing wrong with you. And I'm so happy to hear the feedback from those friends of mine who were on here today and shared their experience, and how a lot of us really have worked through this issue. But it's a deep one, and it's actually all of society is living under that belief. So it's not, when you step out of it inside of yourself, you're still in it in the world, right? So you still live in a society where, everything is wrong. There's the wars, and there's the disease, and if you look around the world, it's very easy to say that something is wrong, and I wouldn't deny that. I'm not one of those spiritual bypassers who denies it all. But what I do see is that I allow my heart, my wisdom, my inner essence or beingness to guide me to move from a place of what's possible, what can be created, what can I do, instead of going like, oh, there's something wrong here, we need to fix this. And, the results may be the same, but it's coming from a different energy. Well, I wouldn't say the results, but the outcome might look different, might look the same, but the energy we bring into it is actually what is more important than the outcome. Because the energy, we want to bring a creative, loving, sustainable energy into the world, instead of the unsustainable energy that is something wrong, needs fixing, something wrong, needs fixing. You see, you're putting a Band-Aid on something all the time, instead of letting the wound bleed all the way and get all the toxins out, and then it will heal naturally from within, because inside of us is the perfection, the rightness, the goodness, and it's who we are already. That's what we need to get in touch with. So I want to talk a little bit about this, the confusion that I've seen in a number of people who have gone to spiritual meetings. Some of them are called satsang, which means meeting in truth. I'm sure there's many other ones, and many spiritual books and teachers talk about it, that when you wake up, when you start waking up to who you are, you start realizing that the little funny character or the personality or the person that you have been identified with, that you thought you were, doesn't even exist. So when I started seeing through this illusion called Pernilla, or this identity called Pernilla, I started seeing that she doesn't even exist. That character that I thought I was doesn't even exist. And that is the character that is trying to fix herself or her life because she believes that she's real and that there is something wrong with her that needs fixing. So as long as we are asleep to who we truly are, we are in that hamster wheel rolling around thinking we're this and it's wrong and it needs fixing. And that is really what most of the world is living under still. Now, here and there, and more, people are waking up and realizing, oh, I am not this character. I'm not this personality. And when you go inside and just rest in and as your beingness, you realize that. And that is often talked about in spiritual circles, that, there is, the character you think is really non-existent, and therefore there really is no separate doer, and because everything happens spontaneously, as is also talked about in many spiritual circles. And what I've seen happens with people who may understand that as a concept, that then they think there is nothing to do, period. So some people, they choose to stop doing anything, and many people, their lives are not really fruitful or fulfilling because they have taken on a spiritual concept that's not realized, and put it into their identity that doesn't really exist. And now this identity that doesn't really exist believes that there is nothing to do. So now it's just going to sit there and not do anything, and maybe become, lose a job or leave a job, and not really do anything that is fruitful, constructive, expansive. And many times you can go into a state of actually depression or sadness because, well, what's the point? There's nothing to do. Nothing matters. And, I went through a phase of that many, many years ago, luckily, for a brief period, because I asked the teacher that I was with at that time, it was Adi Ashanti, and I shared that with him, and I said, I think this is what they talk about in Zen as, what is it called? Gosh, I'm blanking right now, guys. Something about emptiness. I'm blanking on it right now. But he basically said to me, take your awareness into your heart and feel what is there. Because I was living in a place of emptiness where nothing matters. Oh, it was called, here it is. It's called stuck in emptiness. And and I felt stuck in emptiness because I knew I didn't exist, there was nothing to do, and it was really bland and blah. It was like, well, why bother? And it was a short phase, it was short-lived, because I asked Adi, I was like, well, what do I do with this? He just guided me into my heart and says, just go in there, breathe in there, and see what happens. And right as soon as I went there, I felt aliveness, inspiration. And so I realized that whenever that feeling of blandness or nothingness comes, I just go into my heart and listen there. So I want to say that if any of you ever feels that, it's not that when you wake up and realize that you are not the doer, there's nothing to do, everything's just happening. This is all true from the point of view as a separate sense of self that thinks she is, and then you can say your name. So as that is what it relates to. It does not mean that you have to sit down on a couch and just do Facebook or YouTube all day or whatever people do today, and because there's nothing to do, nothing matters, because then you go into kind of a heaviness, a depression, a lack of aliveness, and it's just not right. So It's a matter of realizing that this applies to your separate sense of self. And yes, the separate sense of self, you can say there is nothing you need to do in order to realize, or no, in order to be what you already are. You see? There's nothing you need to do. And I see there's a couple of comments here. Let's see. I resonate with that big time, Pernilla. Thank you, Dove and Butterfly. And Teresa, what a grace to be here with you women. Yes, it is. And then it's okay, blanking is good, but the blanket got pulled and I remembered it again. And Susan is asking, how do you know you are in your heart? Now, very, very important question. Yes. And I have spent a number of radio shows on that, and this is really the core of my teaching, to get people to really get into their heart. So let me just talk a little bit more about this, the no-doer and the doing. Because the way I want to say it is this, that until it is realized, until you realize that you do not, the character that you think you are does not exist, you do not have a choice. You cannot help but doing to fix yourself, to feel better, to fix your life. You can't help it. You simply can't help it. And that's okay, because you are in a different state of consciousness where that is how it works. But when you start waking up, so after you realize that the character you thought you were doesn't exist, so in that sense there's nothing to do, from the character's point of view, it's better to stop all your doing to wake up and become who you are. It's much better to stop and go deeper than where you were before. Go from a deeper place of being. And now I'll get into what you're asking here, Susan. And I know you know this, and I appreciate your question to help people connect with that. So, first of all, in order to listen, you need to pause or stop, so that instead of skating by it, trying to do, improve, get better, whatever, you simply need to see that you're doing that, and then stop it consciously and maybe say to your mind, I'm going to take a 1-minute break from you, and I'm just going to take a breath into my body and notice what is going on in my body. It's a matter of learning to listen to your body, and that is part of what's on my, both in the book that I have on my website called Imagine Being Kind to Yourself. It goes into that in depth, as well as my CDs. But for now, when you stop and pause, take a breath. You can do it right now. And notice if there's any kind of longing in your heart. Is there something you're yearning for? Is there something that you know will make you happy? That's when you start entering your heart terrain, as I may call that. And this is, once you start connecting with that, there will be a few signs. Something in you starts relaxing. You might notice a deep breath. It's like a breath of relief, maybe. There's something that can just settle more. And the more you listen to your heart, some of the signs are that you feel a joy, an expansion, love, maybe even a little excitement, but it comes from the heart. It's not the excitement of wanting to be entertained. It comes from a place of, here it is, it's an aliveness. You will feel an aliveness that you feel in your chest that may move into your belly, your whole body. There is something that feels so much more true and right than what you have been doing by being on the hamster wheel trying to improve yourself or be better. And Susan, if you have a few signs that you would like to share, I would be so happy to share that on the show here today too, or anybody else. Teresa, Dove and Butterfly, please share yourself. How do you know when you are in your heart? Because it may be a little different for everybody. You know, for me, it's very much there is a deep resting that I feel inside. And in that resting, I know I am connecting with something that I sometimes call my wave or current or flow. It's like there is something in us that is already alive and moves, and it's kind of like catching your own wave. And when you catch that, and you do that by listening to your heart, by listening to what is true, what you long for, what is alive in you. When you do that, you catch your own wave and you become one with yourself. So that being and doing becomes one and the same thing. And that's why there is nothing in there that is doing because something is wrong or something needs fixing. You are simply allowing your doing to move from your being, and it is one and the same thing. So let's take a breath into that, because this is really important. This is where the transformation comes from, and this is basically where you will live your life from that awakened place. That place that you wake up to, that you realize, oh, I'm not my name. Let's say I'm not Pernilla, but what am I then? Because I'm still here. There is a character running around in the world doing her thing. So what is that if I'm not moving from this place of lack, of wrongness, needing fixing, but take a breath into a much deeper place of myself and get connected with that? How does that want to move? How does it want to move? In what direction does it move? Is it moving fast, or is it moving really slow? Maybe even stopping. You see? So you start sensing into what is your rhythm, what is your pace, where do you breathe the most relaxed? When can you take a deep breath because you feel a rightness in something? Very important. So we can do it now. You can just take a breath into your beautiful body, into your beautiful belly, and listen to what is right. Am I in my flow right now, or am I doing something because I think I should do it? Am I doing something because I think there's something wrong with me? Where inside of you is there something that feels alive? What is that place in you that knows that you can create something in your life that would actually be fun, both for you and maybe others, that would make you happy, that might even make a difference in your life or in others? So just start feeling for something in you that starts relaxing and expanding. That might be a warmth. There might be a stillness. For me, it's also a deep stillness that feels so alive. And actually, for me, it feels like the most true thing that exists. And the more I rest into this stillness, this beingness, then I let my actions move from there. And this is the place where we need to learn how to do that. I also have a little some exercises that I used to have on my website. I'm not sure if I still have them, but something where you actually learn the language of your body, and it starts with learning what does a yes feel like? What does a no feel like? And Susan is on the phone. I'm sorry, just calling it now. Hi, Susan, and welcome.
Hi, Pernilla.
Hi, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for calling in, Susan. Tell me.
No, just actually, I really love that that line you used of "catch your own wave." That just felt really cool to me.
Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of my thing, you know. It's catching your own wave, because we're trying to surf other people's waves, and we're not happy. And we do that because we think there's something wrong with our own wave.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, one of the signs that I've come out of my heart, which I find it easier to recognize, I guess, when I come out of it more often now, the worry will come back. So when I'm in my heart, there's no worry, even though there may be physical world situations that would have warranted worry. There's this knowingness and a trust that says it's okay.
Beautiful. And it's something you feel, right? You may say it's okay, but it's the heart speaking to you, isn't it?
Absolutely. The mind doesn't stand a chance in that space. It doesn't matter, whatever the situation is that's challenging in the mind, the rest of the body seems to follow my heart that just says, it's all fine.
Yeah. And boy, doesn't that feel good?
It feels wonderful. And the line that, when you were talking about the being and the doing, the line that I've been using for myself is, when I allow the beingness of my spirit to inspire the doingness of my human, I'm whole.
That's it. I so agree. And you know what I love about it, Susan, is that you are not trying to avoid your humanness, which is such a common thing in the spiritual bypassing phase that so many apparently need to go through. It's like, no, the human is so part of it, and just to be informed by spirit is beautiful. Thank you for saying that. Love it. Yeah.
Pleasure.
Great. Anything else you want to share, you wise woman that you are?
I don't know about that, but
I do.
Well, I know. Yes, I'll accept that.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm complete. I'm enjoying the show today. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. I love you. Bye. Yeah, that is it. That's the being and doing is one thing, because the human doing is informed or guided or inspired by our being, our spirit. So anybody else? I think there was somebody else. I can't see it right now. Did I lose the last one? Or is it somewhere else? Anyway, let me just see here. Well, this is a very important subject, I think, and it causes a lot of confusion. And it applies to every area in our life. Oh, here we go. Dove and butterfly. I hope I say it right. Dove and butterfly. I follow my highest joy, but have no expectation of the outcome. Just enjoying the ride. Say yes to things that come into my life. Consciousness for me just wants to have fun. Now, isn't that a beautiful way of sharing it? Thank you so much. That is really, really beautiful. Yes, it's about enjoying the ride without expecting any specific outcome. And that is something that certainly has been one of my lessons too, to really cut out the outcome piece, because then I'm leaving the now thinking that there's something wrong and that it needs to look different in the future, right? That's the moment I leave my being and go into the character that thinks there's something wrong and it needs to look different, and the outcome needs to look different in the future. So very important part is to really just enjoy the movement of your flow, of your wave. And the more we can trust that wave, it will take us wherever we need to go. And that is what we all need to learn. And I think we're all in that process collectively, our whole planet, at least those of us who are in tune with that. We're learning this. And it doesn't happen overnight. Have you noticed? It's a process, and it's a beautiful process. So we are coming to the end shortly, and it's been a really, really wonderful show, for me at least today also, and I am so grateful for all of you who have chatted and called in. I want to just share with you too that the movement in me, my flow, has been slowing down quite a bit for quite a while. So because of that, I have not felt any of the flow going into my radio show right now. So I have one more show left next week, at least this time around, because I just need to follow and trust what my flow is saying, even though it means stopping for a while. And that can be a little freaky, scary, weird, different, But I am listening to that, and I don't know what it means. I have a feeling something else might want to come through, maybe in the same way, differently. I don't know, and I'm okay with that. So I want to just let you know that next week, at least this time around, will be the last broadcast for Evolutionary Women Radio, and I certainly hope that you're going to show up next week and share with me and join in. And who knows what happens after that? Maybe I'll be so inspired to continue, same way, differently, I don't know. But I'm following my own flow, and that is what it is telling me right now. But you can always connect with me. I have the other side of Pernilla is alive and well, and she's still seeing clients and doing the other work that I do. Certainly a lot of work in the garden. So feel free to check out my website again and sign up for a free discovery session with me if you want to explore this some deeper. And you can find me on my website at lillarose.com, LILLAROSE.com. And here you can also find the book that I wrote called Imagine Being Kind to Yourself, which is all about learning to listen to yourself with kindness instead of ignoring. It's like really getting on your own wave instead of trying to surf on somebody else's. And also, if you want to learn about meditation and mindfulness, that's available there for download or as a real CD set. So there's a lot of goodies to help you really land in your heart and start living the life that you came here for. So my sweet friends, I look forward to being here with you again next week. And it's been lovely being with you today, and I'm wishing you a beautiful day and many blessings. Bye-bye.
We're awakened, you won't catch us sleeping through the fight. And like we're all eyes open, showing our inside and light so bright. We are awakened, come and join our love, it's so right. If you could feel what we feel now, you'd be a leader filled with might. Cause we're awakened, you won't catch us sleeping through the fight. And like we're all eyes open, showing our inside and light so bright. We are awakened, come and join our love, it's so right. If you could feel what